How do you go and eliminate 11 years of back pain within a few weeks within the program?
First and foremost, I think I was really fed up with the pain. It was mainly my back, lower back. Right around 2007, 2008 when I got my first severe one where it put me on the floor. I couldn't get up to use the restroom. I was just panicking, lying there thinking, what if somebody were to come into my house? How would I protect my family?
If you had the money to do surgery, were you at the point where you would have?
I probably would have. And so I went and I saw this doctor, and the doctor, he took the MRI and he looks at it and he told me, I recommend that you do not do this because you will be going in and out of the hospital for the rest of your life because you have to find something else. And so he sent me to physical therapy, which was, horrible. They sit you in a corner. They tell you, here, do this exercise. I'll be back in 10 minutes. I paid, I don't know, $2,000 maybe of physical therapy. There were no big changes.
Why don't you take me through your experience in getting started with wealth?
Each little movement is like a little step to get higher and higher and higher. Your exercises, I think that's huge. And my body's telling me, man, that I've come a pretty good ways, just from exercising. And getting that little bit back of my life to where I'm not, am I going to wake up with pain today? I don't think about that anymore. I hadn't played golf in about 13 or 14 years. And now I'm playing almost every week. And now I can take these extra jobs 2, 3, 4 hours longer. And you make a lot more money that way. I was thinking about being healthy for my kids, being able to protect them. And I'm still very grateful, for the program. I still use it.
Joey, thank you so much for joining the Wealth Podcast. How do you go and eliminate 11 years of back pain within a few weeks or a few months within the program? Because to some people listening, that seems unbelievable. It seems unbelievable to me. How did that happen?
First and foremost, I think I was really fed up with the pain. I was tired of it, man. I was desperate. And I went to the doctors. They recommended surgery. Some didn't recommend surgery. Some told me that if I did surgery, I would be going in and out of the hospital for the rest of my life. And I had kids when you and I were first starting to talk about this, and there was no way I was going to do that, so I know you and I were chatting about it for, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you were telling me, come on, dude, let's do it. And it being an online thing, I was skeptical, but that one day I hurt myself again. I said, that's it, man, I got to give this guy a try. And so that's what made me jump into the program.
Yeah, just getting a little more pain. Yeah, because I remember, Joey, you and I think we were chatting on Instagram, and you had told me, is this correct? You had 3 disc bulges, 3 disc herniations, something like that?
7.
7 disc bulges, 7 disc herniations. Do you remember what they were?
From S1 all the way up to right above the thoracic area.
Okay.
And that's why one of the doctors did not want to do surgery. He said, because they were all linked. And if I did one, the other one was going to go out. And then the other one, it was like a puzzle it was just going to start falling.
Okay. And Joey, how old are you?
I am 56.
56. So is this fair to say, or I guess roughly, if my math's correct, from about 45, is that when you started feeling back pain and sciatica?
No. Consistently, yes. But it goes back probably to my late 30s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I first heard it in my early 30s, and it went away.
Mm-hmm.
But right around 2007, 2008 when I got my first severe one where it put me on the floor. I couldn't get up to use the restroom. I was just panicking, lying there thinking, what if somebody were to come into my house? How would I protect my family? So that was the first major one. And then after that, it started happening every 6 months. I would get better. And then every 6 months I would have another episode.
Okay. And what were these episodes like? Were these sciatic flare-ups or back flare-ups or?
It was back. It was mainly my back. It was lower back, and it would knock me out for 4, 5, 6 days. I mean, completely to the floor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You were really active. Well, you were active in our community, and I really appreciated that as well. You brought this level of enthusiasm, and you brought encouragement. I mean, there were a few posts. Let me see if I can pull one up here. There were a few posts where you were just like, this one was awesome. This was last Easter. You said, Happy Easter if you celebrate. I started this program around June of last year. Tried all the injections and other things they sell on TV and radio, but this is the program that gave me my life back. Several disc herniations and bulges since 2011. Last year, after 5 months in the program, finally pain-free. And this is all just through movement. And first off, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing that sentiment with us, but also our members as well. It is encouraging to people who are going through, and I would say suffering with chronic pain. It's the absolute worst. I personally had a disc herniation, and I think for me, it was about 12 to 18 months of my life were affected with back pain and sciatica, and I don't wish that upon anyone. So I cannot imagine, Joey, you struggling with pain on and off for 20 years. Furthermore, going through our program, executing the program, not making excuses for that, but actually finally getting pain-free, after trying everything. So, I mean, what do you think it was, though, for you? Like, how did you actually take decades of suffering after trying injections, what the things that they sold on TV, that sort of thing, Cairo, all of those things? Like, how did you make that change and actually get out of pain?
For me, when I first started the program, I wanted to finish the program so I could be pain-free. That was my mindset. So at the end, this guy's promising me that it's going to be over with. So right around week 2 to 3, one of these movements that, and it's like I tell my son, I go, these are some silly, silly movements. And I go, how is this going to help me? And I actually, it was the pelvic tilts. I go, how is this going to, affect, how is it going to help? Yeah. And one day I was doing those and I felt it kind of like tug on the area that was hurting me. And I go, whoa, what was that? And so right around there, I started doing the exercises to fully feel what they were meant to do. I wasn't just trying to finish them. And that kind of changed it. So from that day, I even went back one week and started over and redid them the right way with full intent that this was going to help me do it.
Interesting. So were you kind of just going, when you first started the program, were you kind of just going through on, I don't know, were you just kind of going through the motions, but not really? Yeah.
I wasn't putting energy into it. I was just, like I said, I was just doing it so I could get to the end and be better. That was my mindset.
Yeah, which, I mean, I get a lot of our members start the program with that mindset because they see and read all these great things and, have a conversation. And you thank me for being persistent. I mean, I was persistent with you because we had that conversation. We'd identified a need that, hey, Joey, I really believed in this program. I believed you need it. You have kids. You were telling me you own a landscaping company and you're not working as much as you would be able to and taking care of your kids because you're in pain. I'm like, you got to do the Limitless program. You got to do it, right? And I know it took you about 4 or 5 weeks, but I kept kind of hitting you up on the side like, Joey, when are we starting? I'm waiting for you, right? But I think a lot of people, sometimes people sign up on the day of the conversation or they, it takes them years. I mean, for some people, they might listen to this podcast, kind of get an inclination like maybe I should try the program, and they might not start for years. There's also going to be other people who are going to start like that, which it's cool. But I think a lot of people come in desperate and then they get into the program. They see the first few modules and they see some small movements and you're like, wait, hold on. How is this going to help me? Is that kind of what you felt?
Yes, that's exactly what I felt. I go, these are small little things. How is this going to cure years and years and years of back pain? But what I found is that each little movement is like a little step to get higher and higher and higher. And then after you reach certain steps, you get a little bit harder. And it got a bit harder, because you have the option of doing 2 sets, 3 sets, or 5 sets if you can actually push it. And towards the end, I was finally pushing it, and it was, um, and I could feel a workout. I was tired. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. This is what I'm
Mm.
signing up for.
Can you I know it was a lot of years of pain, but can you kind of walk me through your experience with having, 7 disc herniations and decades of back pain and sciatica? I mean, how did that impact your life?
Uh, you know, I had it for so long that it kind of became normal for me to be moving around like a robot. I mean, anything that I would pick up, I would just lean over to the side, just slowly. I couldn't play ball anymore. I couldn't golf. And that was one of my favorite things. And so it took a lot of that away from me. I was grateful still, though, because I could walk around with my kids, and we could do certain things. I couldn't run out and play a lot of ball with them because I was scared of getting hurt. So it took a lot away from me. And I was a tournament softball player. And so
Mm.
that was out the window as soon as the first herniation happened. So I hadn't, done a lot. So it affected me big time. That's why when I see some of the letters, or when these guys respond and that they're desperate and stuff, and I go, man, I've been there, and this is not, I'm not selling this for you guys. I'm actually trying to help somebody else out the way you
Yeah.
help me out, and getting that little bit back of my life to where I'm not, oh, am I going to wake up with pain today? Am I, I don't think about that anymore. And so that's a real good feeling. That's a great feeling.
Yeah, can you describe how do you feel every day when you wake up now since doing the program compared to what you were feeling like before?
Well, I'm almost jumping out of bed. I'm not rolling over. 'Cause before I would wake up and I would see how bad I was going to hurt, because every day I would hurt. Every day. There's no way around it. And I would wake up and, what would be my first move? Slowly. Now I don't even think about it, to be honest with you. I don't know how I wake up. I just wake up without, I'm not thinking about anything pain. I'm thinking about getting my day started.
Wow. That's incredible because I remember, fortunately for me, from what I recall with my back pain and sciatica, because some people will be like, I can't sleep, pain is so bad. And we have a lot of people. Was your sleep impacted by pain?
Actually, it wasn't too much. When I
Okay.
flare ups, it would be because anytime you move, you wake up. Uh,
Sure.
but like I said, I got so used to the pain that I would sleep right. It would not wake me up.
Okay. Yeah, so you and I are on the same level with that, right? You got different levels and experiences with back pain or any sort of chronic pain. Truly, you'll have people where you're able to sleep pretty well, and then you wake up, it's first thing on the mind. So it sounds like that was both our experience. So fortunately, I guess looking back, I was able to sleep through the night. But then, unfortunately, first thing, eyes wake up, my back is achy, it just disky,
Yeah.
horrible, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to do a push up out of bed, right? So you're just very tentative. You're like, how am I going to progress through the day now?
Yep. I made sure that the table, my bedside table, was at a certain distance from me all the time. So this way, if I had to roll over, I would push myself, like you said, a little push up to get up. I would do one leg off and then the other one, and then push myself up. And yeah.
So you just start, so you had that first initial flare up, you said like late 30s, right? So almost 20 years ago.
Mhm.
And then do you remember? I mean, did you go to the doctor? Did you kind of start going down the medical system realm? Like, okay, this is going to fix my back pain?
No, the first time that it happened, I was out at the ball fields, and I slid into third base, and it something just happened, and I didn't know what it was. I had never felt something that bad. It felt like somebody stabbed me, and so I tried to get up off the base, off the ground, and I couldn't. And so I had my friends pick me up and kind of walk with me to my truck. And this is right in the middle of the game, third inning or something like that. And I didn't think about the game anymore. I just wanted to get to my truck, and the pain was so severe that I could not drive with both feet. I was leaning to the side, trying to push the brakes, and it was horrible. I clearly remember that night.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got a vivid memory of something, almost 20 years ago, but once you have those experiences with pain, they're imprinted hard.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah. So then it was kind of on and off.
So yeah, and so I would get those on and off, and and man, I would cure it for a little while, for like about 3, 4, 5 months, and then I would have another episode. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just what I do, and this is a regular. It's going to be my life.
Interesting. So, I mean, when you were dealing with back pain for that long, you have 7 disc herniations, and it's just become part of your life. You have a family, you have a job. Did you just almost expect that you were going to live the rest of your life like that, and this was just what the human condition experiences?
Yeah, that was what I was seeing in my life. I was like, one of the things I noticed as I put softball up. I would try, like on the 4th or 5th month after the first flare up, I would try to play a little bit, and I could feel like when I would just lean over to ground a ball, I could feel right. I go, no, this isn't going to work. So I gave that up. I gave golf up. Hey, let me get my charger real quick because it's the
No
battery.
worries. All right, we're back. You got the charger.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what you're saying? Because I already forgot.
No, I forgot to.
I think you were saying you're coming back from softball, or oh no, sorry, we were talking about the just expecting essentially that
Yeah,
was just
that was
what life
part of
was.
my life. I knew every 6 to 7 months I was going to have a flare up, and I would be out for 2 to 3 days. That was just, and I knew when it would happen. Like I said, doing landscaping, it was going to happen to me, and so I was kind of used to that. Every 5 or 6, 7 months, go down for 3 or 4 days, ice up, and then it got to a point to where I started hearing about injections, and I said, well, let me try that. And we went and we got what is it? Right on epidurals, all in the spine. We did that for a little while. Steroids, and it would last a month to 2 months, and then I would get, the 5 months would come up, and again I would get another flare up, and I was like, let me try surgery. And I went and talked to 4 or 5, and then it's not very cheap. So
Yeah. What is this? So when they're quoting you for surgery, what were you being quoted?
I was, to start off, it was looking like about 15 grand to start, and that's not counting the stays after in the hospital and all of that, and then the visits afterwards. And so, but like I said, I was getting very, very desperate. I just wanted this pain to go away. When I started seeing those numbers, honestly, that was going to be a no situation for me.
Okay.
That's very high.
So do you think if at that time, if you had the money to do surgery, were you at the point where you would have?
I probably would have.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
probably would have.
Okay. So for you, really, like you just didn't even think about surgery beyond that just because of the expense of it.
That was for a little while. And
Okay.
then once the company started doing a little bit better, and we did have a little bit of money, I go, well, let me go talk to the doctor again. And so I went and I saw this doctor, and the doctor, he took the MRI and he looks at it, and he told me, he goes, I make my money, operating on people. I recommend that you do not do this because you will be going in and out of the hospital for the rest of your life. He goes, you're going to be moving around like a robot. He goes, I recommend that you don't do this. He goes, you have to find something else. And so he sent me to physical therapy, which was, horrible. I mean, they sit you in a corner. They tell you, here, do this exercise. I'll be back in 10 minutes. And that's, I paid, I don't know, 2 grand maybe of physical therapy. And while it was going on, there were no big changes. I could feel the same stuff that I could have done that on YouTube at home. I was like, but I paid, I think it was a little over 2 grand that I paid for the physical therapy. And then once that was done, I clearly remember the next Saturday I had a flare up.
So I mean, you've seen the extreme of, I think a lot of people probably categorize the extreme of back pain, disc herniations, chronic pain. Last rope would be surgery for most people. you've knocked that off. You're like, okay, I'm not going to do that because the surgeon says I wouldn't operate on you. So you're like, okay, I can't do that. You go back to PT. PT doesn't work. So you're just spinning your tires.
Yeah.
So I mean, what did you think after that? I would imagine just confirmed. All right, this truly is my life.
This is my life. Every 6-7 months, I'll be in bed 2, 3 days, 4 days, and no more golfing, no more nothing. This is my life. And it was at the point too, though. I mean, I was even grateful. I go, you know what? I'm still walking a little bit. I get to see my kids every day, so I took that route. I'm going to be in pain, but I'm going to be grateful. So.
Wow. So that was your mechanism of at least helping you enjoy what you had for life.
Yep.
I mean, I appreciate that perspective. I think that perspective is really valuable. And I think that's awesome that you did that. And then also obviously awesome that you found the program. But why don't you take me through your experience in getting started with wealth? Because you tried so many different things. Mm-hmm. You have a decade plus of proof that you're in pain and nothing works, right? So this is what life is. So, I mean, how skeptical were you with joining our program?
Well, I was very skeptical because it was just something else, and it was off the internet, and I've already done the shots. I did the physical therapy. I did all of this stuff. And I was just like, well, here's another program. And somebody's trying to sell something, to bait us in. They sell you the program, they leave you alone, you never hear from them again. That was kind of what I was expecting, from the program.
Mm-hmm. And how did your experience match to those expectations?
The experience blew everything out of the water. Wow. Just having you guys there. And I remember clearly when I was first starting hinges, that was my hardest exercise, the hinge. And I was doing them, and you asked me, send me a video. And this was like 7:30 at night. And so I sent you a video, and you sent me a video back, and I could see you're having dinner. I could see it on the table, and I go, man, look at this guy. He's sending me stuff. And that kind of like, man, these people really care.
Yeah.
And then Andrew and I forgot his wife's name.
Katie,
the videos that they do, just constantly giving you information and responding to emails and responding to messages on Instagram, and within hours. So it wasn't like a few days or anything. I go, man, these people really care about this. So that was real. It made me feel good. It made me like, man, these guys really want me to get better.
For sure. That's why I was very persistent with you in starting, right? And I think, I'm sure you probably were like, all right, this is just some sales guy, like trying to just sell the program. And I think, no matter what, I'm always going to run into that resistance. Because naturally, like if I do a free consultation, people, if they haven't chatted with me, they might just be like, all right, this is going to be a high pressure call. This person's going to be asking for the credit card at the end of the call or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's not like that. But if there is a need for the program, of course, I'm going to advocate for the program for you. But this is why I'm really excited about these podcasts, because I want other people to share their experience with how the program helped them out. I don't want it to just be I'm talking to someone. Sure. I want someone else to share the story. Keep sharing that. Yeah. I haven't done a podcast of my own, but the reason why I care so much about building this business and getting people into our programs is because I care, because I had a disc herniation and chronic pain. And, I could talk about it for hours, but I'm not going to. Life sucked. And now life is so much better. Like, I love my life because I went through the injury, and what I have now, the gratitude I have for my health and my life. I want everyone in my situation who's struggling to be able to go through that transformation. That's genuinely what I want. So that is why I feel comfortable being persistent with people when I share a conversation and I'm like, I think fear or uncertainty or doubt is creeping in and blocking them from having the transformation that we both want.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is one of the reasons I respond when I see the posts of people having doubt and, how is this supposed to be working for me? I've been in this for 2 weeks. I'm not any better. And that's why I respond to some of those and I put those posts. I even send them messages. I go, you just got to hang in there. And that was one of the things, though, is that with the program, I did it every day, no matter what. I would come home tired from cutting grass, all day mowing and doing all this. I would still find my 30 to 40 minutes every day without fail. I think I honestly missed 2 days out of the whole program. And that
Wow.
was because one was an Easter Sunday, and I forgot what the other one was, but I did it every day. I was dedicated. I wanted to get out of this pain cycle. That was my main thing. And once, like I said, after the second or third week, I felt it touching the areas that were hurting. I go, that's it, man. I'm getting in there. So that is one thing I definitely recommend, is that people do it every day.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's the aspect of empathy and compassion and love and supporting people, but that cannot come, like, that needs to be combined, and I think it truly is the same thing as tough love. Like, you got to do the program every day. Like,
Yeah.
we can't be making excuses. And honestly, I won't be that strict to say you have to do it every day, because I did a podcast about a month ago with a lady who is taking care of her mom with Alzheimer's, and she got in 2 to 3 days a week and finished the program in 5 months and was pain free. So, we're not that stringent on
Yeah.
you have to do it every day. I do think everyone has to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what am I capable of truly? And am I capable of 2 to 3 days because that's all I'm capable of? Or am
Yeah.
I cutting myself some slack and just slowing my progress? So everyone's going to be different, but
Yep.
I really appreciated how you brought that up. You're coming back, you're a father, business owner, and you're doing the program every day. That's just that discipline side that I think sometimes people lack, but that is truly what is required to be successful with our program. But we're not talking about any time crazy. You're saying 30 to 40 minutes, right?
No, that's it. It was
So
30 to 40 minutes.
yeah, very manageable. It's the balance. Like, we want to help people get out of pain and feel better with their body, but we can't magically snap our fingers and cause these changes. Like, there is work, right? So
Yeah.
do you how do you remember kind of your experience? You said 2 to 3 weeks into the program, you started feeling better. You felt maybe some desensitization, or maybe actually sensitizing to that area. Okay, I'm feeling the area that hurts. I'm kind of connecting with it. What was your experience like going through the program in the first 2 months? Because if you only missed 2 days, did you finish in 2 months?
Yes. I
Okay.
think it was like 2 months and a little bit after, because I went back and did an extra week. Once I figured out that what the exercises were supposed to make me feel, I went
Okay.
back and did that week again. I think it was the second week I repeated.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but yeah, you know, just on another thing is that we all say, yeah, we can do this on our own. We can do this on our own. But the way the program is built, telling you what to do, your exercises, I think that's huge. I think it's really huge, and the videos that come along with them are big as well. I don't think you get that a lot, at other places, other programs. And so that was my big thing too, is that I could get home. I go, okay, module 3, day 4. This is what I need to do. I'm not guessing, and
Right.
that was huge. That was a big part of what helped me keep going.
Yeah, trying to take out the guesswork for you, which
Yep.
is why people pay $1,000 for the program, or you could do monthly for like $90 a month. But we've put in so much time and effort and experience into cultivating a program that's going to take you months, and that's why it costs what it does. But I mean, obviously, I would make the argument that that direction that you get, it's maybe 5 sessions of PT, but or maybe if you're paying with insurance, people are like, oh, I could go to 20 sessions of PT. But then you have to ask yourself, like, am I actually getting the dedicated resources I need to solve this issue? And if not, you're wasting your time, and you're leaving feeling good on the table.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. And having, like I said, when I had questions, I would just send you a message and you would
Right.
respond right away. You can't get that everywhere. The PT people, I mean, like I said, they would put me in a corner and we'll be back in 10 minutes. And, you know,
Sure. Yeah. I think there's so many challenges and problems within the PT realm. What you're talking about, going to a PT clinic and they leave you alone and you just kind of go do stuff that you could find off of YouTube. That's not every PT experience, but that's stereotypically pretty true. The surgery, stereotypically kind of what they were saying, a lot of times people get a surgery and then have to keep going back.
yeah,
And you don't really fix kind of the root cause. For some people, of course, surgery is necessary, but for most, it doesn't seem that. It seems that it's kind of further along the timeline than it should be.
yeah.
Then you got chiropractic, massage. What were some of the things that you bought off of TV? Because you mentioned that in one of your Facebook posts, like you were buying stuff from ads or TV. I was
Well, I
curious.
bought the tables that stretch you,
Okay.
the the rollers. I mean, I went for, hey, this will help your back. Oh, let me get that. This will help your
Mm-hmm.
back. Let me get that one. And to be honest with you, that table, the what is it? The
Inversion.
yes, that made me worse. I mean, it hurt so bad. And then the first time I didn't know how to do it, so I was there hanging by myself. No, my kids are not home. Nobody's home. Trying to get up and in pain. So yeah,
I'm just picturing you just being stuck in the inversion
I was
table.
stuck in the garage, man. Because it goes back and just and oh man. So yeah, I can laugh about it now.
Yeah. I'm sure at the time you're probably freaking out. But it's funny. Like I can kind of laugh at it in retrospect. Like the things that it's funny, it's comical, and I think I have a sense of humor. I feel like I have to laugh at things that are dark because that's just who I am, right? And I think that's who a
Sure.
lot of people are. It's funny, and it's also so sad how much emphasis is placed on like all of the tools and things that people need to buy to manage their pain, and you just don't realize like all I'm ever doing is trying to manage my pain. Like I need to pull so far back and be like, what am I doing with my body? I need to
Yeah.
do something radically different. But I mean, how do you, when you go from trying all those things though, what's the difference between what you tried before and wealth? Because I guess it's kind of funny. Again, I understand the irony of this. You're like, I tried all of the things. Everyone's telling me that this thing's going to fix me, but it was wealth, this one wealth program that
Yeah.
fixed me, right? So, what is the wealth program that fixed you?
So one of the other things that I did that I didn't mention is it's a new decompression tables.
I did that too.
I did a
Yeah.
whole program of that. And the doctor was telling me, well, I don't know if he was a doctor, but he was telling me, he goes, once you're done with this, this is going to open up. You're going to, the liquid this, blah, blah, and I'll go, well, let's do it. And you have to sign up for a whole program. It's not
Wow.
just like one or two times. It's a whole thing, and I don't even want to say how much it cost, but it was a lot.
Yep.
And so when I was done with it, I was like, okay, I should be good. And no, flare up.
Yeah. I did that too. I think it's called it might be the coccyx table or something
I,
potentially. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
From my recollection, but yes, I went to the Cairo and I got strapped onto that thing. I think they put some straps around your legs and then it's some oscillation and it kind of goes like this and then twists and stuff. Oh yeah, I was given the full spiel and I think my mom and dad, they paid for that at the time. I was just in college, but I was like, you guys got to do this. This is going to help me. It sounds so good. I don't, I don't think it made me worse. It definitely didn't make me better there.
No.
But the funny thing about, for me, my experience with my chiropractor was while the treatments, I didn't actually leave feeling worse on the decompression table or the adjustments. They didn't ever make me better, but I don't feel like they made me worse, like some people will complain
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Mentally, however, I started leaving the chiropractic office worse and worse and worse every time I would go in because I couldn't understand why I was dealing with the pain. and I couldn't see a path forward. I was walking in, the chiropractor is telling me to wear a back brace. So, it's just kind of like, hey, see my friends. You need to go see my chiropractic friend when you go down to school in LA. See him, wear this back brace, keep paying me money. Like, we'll kind of fix you up. But there was this ambiguity in the situation in which I didn't understand why I was dealing with what I was dealing with.
Yeah.
They had the answers. I didn't have any control over my situation. They just told me not to lift, not to squat. Then you go on
Yeah.
Google reading stuff and all
Yeah.
right, so you have a disc herniation, your back is messed up forever. So I started to leave the office, seeing the chiropractor who I felt was going to help me. I started to leave feeling worse and worse just because mentally I was so unsure about my future. And I think that mental pain was the hardest thing for me.
Yeah. There's no doubt. Like I said, once I got to that point and that didn't help me, that was just it. That was like, this is my life, 6, 7 months. I'm going to have these flare ups, and that's how, I'm just going to deal with it.
Oh man, yeah, that's tough. Well, and so walk me through it as well. I'm kind of curious about your business ventures. So do you own a landscaping company?
Yeah, I have a landscape company.
Okay.
I've been doing it since like 2003 for myself.
That's brutal. So were you physically, I mean, did you have to kind of taper off of your actual involvement in landscaping due to back pain, or how did you kind of work through that?
Yeah. Well, I started, at a landscape company. Just full on labor, as a labor. And then when I went out on my own, I had to do labor because you can't afford to pay anybody when you first start your business. So yeah, I was definitely doing everything, all of it. And so little by little, I had to start hiring people because there would come a day where I couldn't go out, I couldn't get stuff done. So I was like, man, I'm going to have to take this portion of the company and pay somebody to come and run the truck and do this. And it got pretty good. I got to a point to where I had 4 trucks and I had crews. And so I was able to just walk around and do sales and, sell projects, stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Is when you look at even your employees, your workers, I mean, is injury, I mean, are they common in the job? I mean, do you see a lot of people deal with stuff like that?
The one surgeon that recommended that I do not get the surgery, he guaranteed me that out of 10 of my friends, 9 of them have herniated or bulging disc. He said, I guarantee you.
Sure.
He goes, it's just part of the work. You're bending over, picking stuff up. He goes, you do it for so long, it's going to happen. And so, it's a common thing. And at work, though, like the company that I work, you see guys around walking around, they're, holding their sides, trying to get in the trucks. And man, I know that pain. I know exactly what it is.
How does that make you feel seeing other people go through that?
I talk to them and I try to tell them what I did, and I go, look, it's movements. I said, it's small movements. You've got to, and then I give them, the website, and I like, follow these guys on Instagram. I said, even if you don't get the program, right. I said, they give you a lot of information for free on the Instagram. I said, and if that intrigues you enough, maybe you could sign up, But a lot of these guys too are like, in their 50s, 60s, they're older men who have just been at it for so long.
Right. And why are they going to do an online program when, it's just, that's for sure the next thing that they've been doing.
It'll go away tomorrow. I'll just put ice on it and it'll, I'll be okay. That's their mentality. And I know it.
Oh my gosh, Joey. Well, I'm super happy for you. Thank you for sharing your story. Moving forward, I mean, do you have any big goals now that you're looking to do or achieve or working towards now that you have?
Yeah, I'm actually.
You're not dealing with chronic pain.
I'm actually going to try to play in the Firecracker Open. It's a golf tournament here in Austin. And that's one of the things that I got back, man. I hadn't played golf in about 13 or 14 years. And now I'm playing almost every week. So that is one of my goals, is to play that tournament. But I have to practice a lot. And if my back weren't good, I wouldn't be able to practice. So So yeah, that's one of the goals I have.
Sure. Okay, yeah, we didn't touch on that. We got a lot of golfers out there, obviously, and a lot of golfers who complain about back pain and that sort of thing. So you were saying that you used to play golf like 5 to 6 times a month before you hurt your
Yeah.
back. So I mean, was golf your biggest hobby, passion? I mean, were you really good at it? Was it just kind of competitive with friends?
I got to the point where I was pretty decent. I was about an 8 to 9 handicap, and so I would do tournaments and
Okay.
stuff like that. And so, I mean, I really loved it. It was something that I dove into trying to figure out, and it was something else that I had to lay to the side because of my back pain.
From a mechanical side, from what you've learned from the program, how has that influenced your golf game?
Um, as far as the
Or do you
swings,
just feel better?
it well, like I still do every week. I do a lot of the movements. I do I don't know what they call them, but they're like the push-ups with the shoulders.
Yeah,
Those
scout
and I
push-ups.
still do the pelvic tilts every week. There's no week that goes by that I do not. And it was the silliest one. I tell you, I don't know if I tell you. My kid walks in and he sees me doing this. He goes, "Dad, are you twerking?" I go, "Come on, dude." So, so
Yep, yep. Oh, it's kind of funny. I'll catch myself. I mean, I'm sitting on my workout bench right now, but I'll just oscillate the
yeah,
pelvis a little bit back and forth all the
yep,
time. I just can't stop doing it.
yeah,
Yeah, there's certain movements that you learn from the program, like, wow, that felt incredible for my back. And then you have this really solid foundation, I believe, after you go through the program. You have this intense experience that you've gone through, you've healed, and then what you've learned in the program is so much more important and fundamental to you because you have this association with these things help me. So therefore, I want to
yeah,
continue to do them moving forward. And I think that's where we see people join the program and they come out stronger or on a better trajectory than potentially they would have had before because they were forced to learn some of these fundamentals that they wouldn't have learned
yeah,
otherwise. And then you'll start to see people be able to play and have this longevity because they really took care of their injuries through the
yeah.
program.
So I mean, I've had like a couple of minor flare-ups here and there. It hasn't been completely free, but it has lasted at the most a day and a half, to where I go, okay, I'm not doing enough of these. Let me go back and strengthen this part again. So it has educated me
Mm-hmm.
as well on that front. But these flare ups that I get now, I haven't been, well, let me knock on wood. I haven't been
I got some here too.
thrown on the floor, you know, not not being able to move anymore. And so that's a
That's
huge deal,
incredible.
man. It's super big deal.
Have you ever thought about going back and would you ever go back to the doctor or get a repeat MRI? I mean, are you curious as to what that stuff looks
I am
like or
kind of
what's your
curious.
thought?
I am kind of
Yeah,
curious, and I might just do that just to see, because I want to prove it to myself. It's like, but then again, I know what my body's telling me. I don't need to see it, and my body's telling me,
right.
man, that I've come a pretty good ways. Just from exercising.
For
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, you were saying too, it was funny too. You were telling me that your wife was noticing changes as well within your body composition and strength and posture and those sorts of things, which is always cool to hear. What, from the perspective of your family, how do they see you now versus
oh,
before?
it's a big difference. I'm able to go and do stuff every day. Whenever we want to go do something, we want to go hiking. I do all of that now. Just the little parts of going into town, walking around, without holding on to something and going, oh, hold on, let me get out of the truck. None of that. So it's a big
That's
deal.
awesome.
It's a huge deal
That's
for all of us. I'm sure they feel safer with me like this.
sure. And how old are your kids?
17, 14, and 12.
17, 14, and 12. So at 56 years old, I mean, do you feel, because I know, from end of 30s to 50s, 55, 54, we're not feeling great. But I mean, at 56, I'm curious as to how your body feels now. Like, I mean, is it safe to say, oh, I feel like I'm 40 but without pain? Or I mean, do you feel younger? Do you feel
I
healthier?
feel a lot younger and healthier. I honestly do. I don't feel like, even when I'm meeting new people, they go, "How old are you?" You know, that point that comes out, and that makes me feel good. But my body is moving; it's able to, I can move around. I'm not like walking like a robot. So yeah, I do feel like I'm in the 40s.
Awesome. Well, that's so cool. Joey, thank you so much. Thank you for allowing me to be persistent with you on the front end when we first chatted on the phone. Man, when do you think that was? When did we first? I feel like it was over the summer. Do you think was that summer of 23?
23, yeah, yeah. I think
Summer of 23. I think it was like July or August of 2023 we chatted. Then I think it took you about 4 to 6 weeks to finally bite the
yeah.
bullet and sign up. And
See,
then
that was
like
one of the
that, I mean,
things too, is that on the, I think it was the Instagram, it said, "Call me and I will answer. I will pick up. I promise it's me." And I was like, "Yeah, right." I called and, "Yeah, what's up?" And I go, "Oh, it is you." So that was pretty cool.
we're we're real people. Yeah, I feel fortunate just to be. I do feel like this is, at least in my limited lifetime. I'm 28 right now. I feel like this is what I should be doing. Just I had a really difficult experience with pain 7 years ago, and now it's such a it's it's a blessing to be
Yeah.
able to have this, cool online relationship with you in a sense. I've never met you, but I feel like I know you in that sense because you and I both went through the same
Yeah.
thing. And I don't take it for granted knowing that I have the ability to help inspire and push someone else to do the program. And it feels good for sure
So,
saying like, "Hey, Cameron, you were a little persistent with me to sign up, but this is why."
and that's what helps me. It's that's what makes, like, when I see those posts online, the way you helped me feel is, hopefully I can give that little bit of helpful to. I mean, because I see a lot of them, man. They have a lot of self doubt, and I'm like, no, no, no. I said it gets better. Trust me. So
Sure. Well, I think that's also really important. Joe, you're 56, and I think people carry around so many different excuses and limiting beliefs as to why they can't get better. Because we'll have people be like, "Well, yeah, of course, Cameron or Andrew or Katie or whatever." They'll say, "Of course, this person can do it," but I have three herniations. It's like, okay, well, Joey had
yeah,
seven. It's like, you can play that game infinitely. Like, well, he's 20, I'm 30, so I can't do
yep,
it. It's like, yeah, well, someone who's 55 did
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Um, so I just appreciate you sharing that wisdom too, and the discipline of
There was
you got to come back from work if you're tired and do the
there
program.
was one guy who had his MRI with, I think it was 2 or 3, and I sent him mine. I go, "Look, there's 7 of them right here." And so he texted back a few times, for with information. And I was like, "Dude, you just got to take it slow. Everybody's a little bit different. Just because I healed up
Sure.
pretty fast, somebody else might not. And
Definitely.
but yeah, so
Everyone's different, but I will say that encouragement, I think universally or almost universally, is appreciated for sure in our Facebook group. So thank you for doing that. If you ever see people post in Facebook in the future, just re-educating people on your story and sharing that encouragement is always helpful, always appreciated.
absolutely.
Joey, it's been a blessing to share the past hour with you. Thank you for sharing your story. Anything else you want to say? I know we covered a
No,
lot.
man, I'm still, like I said, it feels like we just barely met. It hasn't been 2 years, and I'm still very grateful, for the program. It's um, I still use it.
Good. I love it. And you got your buddy, what was it,
Mike,
Mike?
yeah,
Mike did the program as
yep.
well. So thank you for spreading that around, and yeah, appreciate it. How much longer do you plan on doing landscaping?
Let's see, we got prom, we've got cars I need to buy. There's, you know,
Yeah, you got job
yeah,
security, right? Your kids are still young, huh?
yeah. There's no
Yeah,
end in
you're not
sight
even.
yet.
Yeah, I guess they're coming up. Some of them are coming up on college. You got high school and that sort of thing, right? So I hope the landscaping business crushes as
What's
well.
kind of good though is one of my oldest told me that he's going to get his job here, pretty soon, and he's going to allow me to stop working so I can play more golf. So that was kind of cool.
I love
Yeah.
that. I'm curious. Would you say, this is just a question, maybe it's not true at all. Are you making more money? Is your business more successful because you're
Yeah,
healthier?
there's no doubt. I can take on
Really?
different jobs.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
there.
Have you ever thought about quantifying that or qualifying that? Because I'm always curious. It's like everyone has their own life outside of wealth,
Mhm.
right? Obviously, but then they come to us to like fix their own issues, get healthier so that everything else ideally in their life gets better. But just as a fellow business owner, obviously I co-founded this business with Katie and Andrew. Um, I know that if I can bring in more energy and health and I take care of myself, theoretically this business should do
Yeah,
better. It's a core fundamental. I know there's a lot of people out there that are kind of see it the other way and like, I'm going to sacrifice personal health for the business or whatever. But I think you can pour from what's the saying? You can only pour from like a full cup, right? So I'm curious though, what you think about your business because you are healthier
oh,
now.
there's no doubt. I can take more jobs on. Before, I would have to stop by about two or three. I would be beat. I mean, there's my back couldn't take any more. And now I can take these extra jobs, 2, 3, 4 hours longer, and you make a lot more money that way throughout the year if you add that up. So there's no doubt.
Sure.
And that's the added bonus. I wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about being healthy for my kids.
Right. Well, that's cool. That was your first
Yep.
thought.
Yep. Being able to
Well,
protect them.
you're doing
Yeah.
that. It sounds like you're active with them. You're able to do what you need to do financially as well. Actually, being able to protect them. So that is
Yeah.
awesome to hear that you have taken care of yourself and can take care of your kids and your employees and workers as well. I mean, you're now a source of financial stability for them because you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
All right, Joey, awesome, man. Hey, well, I'll let you get back to it. I appreciate the
All
time.
right, man. We'll talk to you soon.